Hey there and welcome. Today, we're diving into one of the coolest parts of the English language, conditionals. And trust me, this isn't just about boring grammar rules. No, this is about the language of imagination, of dreams, and all those amazing possibilities that start with two little words, what if? Seriously, think about it for a sec. To fly, be invisible, whatever you just came up with, you actually used a conditional sentence to do it. See? You're already doing it. So let's jump in and really get the hang of this. So here's our game plan. We'll start by imagining the present, then we'll look back at the past. After that, we'll put your new skills to the test, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with a simple takeaway. Let's do this. Okay, first up, the second conditional. This is your go-to for talking about stuff that isn't true right now, but you can imagine it. You know, for daydreams, hypotheticals, all that fun stuff. Here's the basic formula. Your if part uses the simple past tense, and the result part uses would plus the main verb. It might sound a little technical, but I promise, it's super simple once you see it in action.
So for example, if it was sunny, we'd go swimming. Right now it's not sunny, but we're imagining it is. See the pattern? If plus the simple past was, then we would, or we'd, go swimming. It works the same way for all of these.
And, here's a classic. If I were you, you're going to hear and use this one all the time. It's hands down the most common way to use the second conditional, and it's just the perfect, polite way to give someone advice. You're literally imagining yourself in their situation.
Now, you might have noticed we've used both was and were. So what's the deal? Well, officially, especially when you're writing, you should use were for everybody. If I were, if she were. But, and this is a big but, in everyday chat, you'll hear people say if she was all the time. It's totally natural, so don't sweat it when you're speaking.
So we've covered imagining the present, but what if you want to imagine a different past? Well, for that, we need the third conditional. This is the grammar of regret, of what-ifs, of looking back and wondering how things could have been different.
This one is all about things that are impossible now because they're in the past, and you can't change the past. The structure is a bit beefier. The if part uses the past perfect. That's had plus a past participle, like seen or gone. And the result uses would have plus a past participle. Let's look at this one. If I'd known you were hungry, the reality, I didn't know. I would have saved you some pizza. The reality, I ate it all. This perfectly shows how we talk about a past that didn't happen and the result that never was.
Want to know a secret to sounding more fluent? Use contractions. Seriously, native speakers do this constantly. I had becomes I'd. Would have gets squished into would've. Using these makes you sound so much more natural and less like you're reading from a book.
Okay, seeing it all laid out like this side by side is so helpful, right? Second conditional is for now, if I knew. Third conditional is for the past, if I had known. This makes that difference in time and grammar totally clear.
All right, enough theory. It's time to put what you've learned into practice. Let's do a super quick quiz to see how you're doing. Ready?
First one. If the lights was or were on, we'd be able to see. Which one sounds right to you? Take a second.
And the answer is were. Yep, for this second conditional, the formal rule is to use were for everything, singular or plural. Awesome work.
Question number 2. If Ira would have or had checked his texts. We're talking about the past here. So what goes in that if clause? You got it. It's had. Remember that structure? If plus the past perfect. So, if Ira had checked his texts. See? You're getting this. And the last one. If I'd known or knew you were going to be late, the result is in the past. I wouldn't have cooked. So which form do we need?
Nailed it! The answer is I'd known, which is short for I had known. That's the past perfect we need for the third conditional. Fantastic job on the quiz.
All right, let's wrap this all up. We're going to boil everything down so you know exactly what you need to remember from our little explainers today.
So if you remember anything, remember this. Use the second conditional when you're talking about an unreal present, like if I were rich, and use the third conditional for an impossible past, like if I had studied. And here's a little challenge. Try to use if I were you to give someone advice today. It's seriously the best way to practice. And that's pretty much it, which just leaves us with one final thought. If you'd subscribed earlier, what other grammar points would you have mastered by now? Just something to think about. Make sure you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for joining me.